All right, we're back, are we? Hello,
Well,
Jord. You all right, have you?
how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good,
Oh wait,
man.
no,
I'm
too
good.
soon.
Yeah. I missed you. I said you all day.
Yeah, where you been?
Uh, did you go to the cinema this week, did you?
No,
Did you go to the cinema last week?
no,
You been to the cinema this week? Don't
no.
lie to me.
I
You went?
haven't.
You
I
went?
legit haven't. I sat here and watched it on my monitor.
Oh,
I
okay.
was in
All right.
I was in isolation. Uncle Boris gave me 10 days inside as
Uncle,
a
Uncle
Christmas present.
Boris. God bless him. As a
Um,
treat.
yeah, despite being double vaxxed and despite having no symptoms and despite testing negative repeatedly with lateral flow tests, I still had to stay inside
I,
for
I,
10 days.
we keep getting lockdowns as a treat, don't we? And it's like,
Yeah, love it, mate. Well, my place of work doesn't believe in lockdowns, so to be fair, it's not a place of work that can believe in lockdowns, but we won't get any further into that.
no, yeah.
So, what are we
Don't worry
talking about, Jay?
We're going to talk about Marvel Studios presents Black Widow, the movie Black Widow, which has done very well.
It's done really well.
It does,
it's done
yeah.
really well.
80 million domestically in the US and something like 60 million on streaming.
This will probably be the highest grossing film of the year so far. When it's by next week or the week after, I'd say.
Well, I think that's to be expected. I think people have been clamoring quite a fair bit for a solo Black Widow movie since like Winter Soldier, maybe even before that, actually.
I'm going to start with a hot take. If we hadn't had such an MCU movie drought, I don't think this would have done anywhere near as well.
That's not a particular hot take. I'm going to stick. The hill that I've chosen to die on is the hill that I climbed when this project was announced. 5 years too late.
Absolutely.
5 years too late. Great.
Should have came out after Civil War. This should have been the next film after Civil War.
But do you know what? The writers of the film validate that because that's when it's set. It's set right after Civil War. Like Black Widow's on the run, Cap's in hiding. Great. Well, I say great film. It's a decent film. What did you think of it, mate?
I think that this is the best first solo outing that the MCU has to offer.
Really?
I think this is better than Black Panther. I think this is better than Doctor Strange. I think this is better than Ant-Man.
Better than Spider-Man. Because that's the only one I'd put up there against it.
You're probably right. It's second.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The Spider-Man films are just on another. They're on the same level as the team-up films.
Mm-hmm.
In my
that's
opinion.
true. They are kind of like next level up there with some of the sequels and stuff like that. I potentially maybe prefer Iron Man and Captain America to this, but still quite a good solo outing. The problem is I felt like it was just a bit of a nothing movie. Like it just kind of happened.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So I'll agree with you. I think it falls a little bit in action
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit in plot, but it more than makes up for it in characters and character moments. I really liked Red Guardian. I really liked Florence Pugh's Black Widow. I'm not really sure what character name.
The internet is on fire about her. Like everybody loves Florence Pugh's character. She's stand out.
I've been a big fan of her since I watched Fighting with My Family, which is I think is an absolute 9 out of 10 film, especially for a family movie that you can watch. Multiple generations of your family are going to sit down and get a kick out of. I think it's a really good film, and I think she is an absolute standout star from that. So after watching that and hearing that she got cast, and that this character is potentially going to be taking over the mantle in the mainline films,
it certainly looks that way, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So should we go spoilers straight away, or have you got some non-spoiler stuff to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of covered all bases there, but like, I don't know. So something about the whole. Because it feels very different from the and I don't know all the technical terminology and cinematography terms or whatever, but it just feels very different than the other MCU films, which isn't a bad thing, but it feels a lot more grounded in the way that it's shot. It feels like some of the like the filter that's over the whole thing and some of the camera angles that are used, it feels a lot more art house kind of independent film, almost in those smaller character moments. And I feel like it maybe could have taken itself a little bit more seriously. I feel like some of the humor here is kind of shoehorned in because it's expected to be in a Marvel film at this stage. They
totally stole the superhero landing joke from
Deadpool.
But
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I still think it worked.
That worked because
totally Florence Pugh that made it work.
It worked because there was a payoff for it. It looked like later on in the film when she actually does that superhero landing, she's like, whoa, she does that.
I think it paid off, and I think it wouldn't have worked for most other actors.
I feel like some of the conversational humor when that family is sat around the dinner table in that one scene, I feel like some of that really didn't land for me. I would have preferred that scene to take itself a little bit more seriously.
Like that scene was shot for trailers.
Do you reckon? Just to have them all?
I do. Yeah. To have everybody in the same room and to confuse people about what each character's role in the movie was going to be.
Mm-hmm. You didn't need that joke about Red Guardian's dad pissing in his hands. I could have lived without that. Just little bits of humor in this just didn't land for me. I feel like it would have served the film a little better if it had been a bit more straight-laced with the whole thing and taken itself just a little bit more seriously. It seemed like it was there for the sake of it. That's exactly what I'm saying. But if you were to, it feels a lot like because it was after Avengers. Avengers got some big laughs, and that was when humor started appearing more often than not in Marvel films. But before that, you had the first Iron Man, you had Iron Man 2, which had jokes in them, but it wasn't it wasn't a thing. There were humorous moments. It wasn't like it was there because you expect it from Marvel because they were just starting out. And I feel like this should have followed with that a little bit more, had little moments of humor, but taken itself a little bit more seriously rather than having like little, oh god, what do you call little quips here and there that just kind of took me out of it. I know it's a massive nitpick, but it crossed my mind more than once while I was watching the film there, because when it does take itself seriously, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. Do you know what I mean? 5 years too late. Though I'm going to keep coming back to that.
Late, but that isn't my main complaint. My main complaint about this is Act 1 went on a bit much. Act 1 dragged a little bit for me, and Act 3 felt like it had 20 minutes cut from it.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we're here. Oh, it's over. It just went. Yeah.
There wasn't much action in this. There was some decent hand-to-hand stuff, and there was some good sequences that weren't straight up fighting. That was still could still class as action, like. The prison break scene, I really enjoyed that.
That was probably my favourite set piece in the whole film. Maybe one more that I thought I was gonna. Oh, this is gonna be fantastic, but they didn't follow through with it the way I thought it was gonna. Should we go spoilers, and I could jump into that now? It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch at least on stream, and I'll probably sounds as a pound. I like. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie at all.
Film, this ain't going to be the thing that makes you disenfranchised.
If you are an MCU film.
If you're an MCU film, congratulations on being an
MCU film.
But,
yes, absolutely. It sits very comfortably in that whole, like you said, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Black Panther category for me. It's
serviceable.
Yeah, not great, not terrible. That's as much as you can say. But the set piece I thought I was really gonna like, and we could talk about Taskmaster now because it's a bit more spoiler based. That's the last thing I'd say before we go to spoilers. If you like the character of Taskmaster, which I do, I like Taskmaster as a presence in the Marvel universe, whether it's comics or video games or whatever. I always like to see the Taskmaster show up because I think they have got a real interesting set of powers. You know, being able to being like Ditto, but hired killer. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
If you're going to this film excited to see Taskmaster, lower your expectations just a touch. Underutilized.
I think that was where I was the most disappointed. I think it worked really well in the context of the film, but I was going and expecting Taskmaster to be the brains behind the operation, really, the main villain. This was before I knew anything about the story. Obviously, as soon as you bring in Dreykov and Dreykov's daughter, yeah, it's Dreykov's going to be the bad guy. And as soon as I realised it was very Red Room focused, yeah, sure. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be, but it still worked for me. But going in, I really wanted Taskmaster to be this huge villain that is being set up for a Spider-Man film, essentially.
Yeah, multiple films, and anyway, I hypothesized that you could stick Taskmaster in with Daredevil, not with Daredevil. Well, that would work as well, but with Deadpool, stick him in Deadpool and flesh him out there, or flesh her out there. Sorry, it does transpire that. Because we've been hearing about Dreykov and Dreykov's daughter since Avengers. There's some back and forth there between Loki and Black Widow, and that kind of comes full circle and pays off with this film, which I'll talk about in a second, because that was one of my favorite moments. But I lost where I was going with that. But definitely. There was a character there that could have been fleshed out a lot more than it was in this film. Disappointed, but
I was a bit disappointed too.
But the set piece, sorry to come back to it. Sorry, the set piece that I thought I was going to like is when the whole thing goes to shit at the end and they're skydiving down, and I thought Black Widow and Taskmaster were going to start parkouring on falling debris and have the whole fight in free fall. And I was like, that's fucking cool. I've never really seen anything like that before. And then it was just like one piece of debris, and then they were on the ground, and I was a bit like, I thought that was going to be like a really cool aerial fight.
They definitely could have done more with that. Sorry, I forgot how to talk.
That's all good, mate.
And they didn't.
No, they didn't. I feel like this might have been a bigger deal for people, or I might have enjoyed it more if we hadn't had the Disney Plus shows before, because I left this film being a bit hungry for more information, because I've been used now to having these longer form series with these Marvel characters, and I didn't.
But I don't want to give up those Disney Plus series.
I don't want to give them No, I don't want to give them up either. But it would be like if this film had come out when it was meant to come out, I think it would have superseded all the other Disney Plus stuff. I think it would have come out first. So that might have been.
No, it definitely would have, because. Jumping ahead to the post-credit scenes, we get Valentina, and I can't remember who confirmed, whether it was someone who worked on the show or the film, or Kevin, or my mate Kev himself, who came out and said that her first appearance was meant to be this post-credit scene. And we were meant to recognise her in Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
rather than the other way around.
But it didn't really matter. I think the appearances make sense. Just the exact amount of sense, whichever way you see them. And it obviously means, I think if this came first, I would have been like, okay, we're getting Dark Avengers straight up.
We're certainly getting some kind of Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts with
I think it's going to be
US agent.
I think it's going to be more Dark Avengers in name and more Thunderbolts in
execution.
Yeah, I think so, because I don't think they set up General Ross well enough to be involved in anything like that. He clearly hates superheroes and everything like that, and he just wants them all gone.
Well, the Thunderbolts had a great arc in the comics where it was Norman Osborn who was heading up the operation, and I'm crying out for Bryan Cranston.
They're not going to be called the Thunderbolts without his involvement, are they?
True, but I am crying out for Bryan Cranston as Norman Osborn. I think that's fucking, especially Norman Osborn, director of Hammer, or like he takes over Shield and he renames it as Hammer. If you were going to have director Norman Osborn, get fucking Bryan Cranston to play that dude now. I mean, his face already looks like a goblin.
Do you want like Superior Iron Man?
Say again?
Do you want Superior Iron Man, or is it Iron
Patriot?
Sorry,
it's already been
Superior
done.
Iron Man.
There is a Superior Iron Man. You're right. It wasn't Obadiah, was it? I can't remember.
I think it was Norman Osborn.
I know that Iron Patriot was Norman Osborn on the Dark Avengers.
Sorry, okay, I'm just being really stupid.
That's all good, yeah.
Yeah, it's a villainous Tony Stark.
We did have Iron Patriot in Iron Man 3 though. That the aesthetics of it at least were used. So I don't know whether they'd bring that back at this stage. But
I know they can't use Iron Patriot again. But for all Marvel's sake, they could just have Superior Iron Man and it be I'm paid for it.
But we could also be way off, man, and they could be setting up West Coast Avengers. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the lineup kind of matches up. Because you got White Vision,
So,
you've got US Agent.
Main Avengers are probably going to take a step back, and there's not going to be a main Avengers. I think we'll probably get two groups of Avengers, two groups of spin-off Avengers. We are getting Young Avengers. I'm sorry, we just are.
No, that's happening. That is definitely happening.
You won't convince me otherwise. But I think we'll have Young Avengers and Dark Avengers, and maybe a Civil War 2 between them.
Yeah.
Not a Civil War 2, but you know what I mean. That sort
of like those they seem to be setting those up in the
sort of airport battle.
No, absolutely. They seem to be setting those two things up. Those are the two teams or groups that they're setting up at the moment through these series, and obviously now through the film. Maybe the Young Avengers will just take the Avengers name, because all of the old Avengers are gone doing fucking weird shit. I tell you what, I'd love Young Avengers plus Doctor Strange. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. I think at some stage you'll get the new Avengers, but also, Fantastic Four are coming. X-Men are coming. The world is massive now. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to live or die on there being an Avengers team. There can be multiple. We haven't really seen much.
It would make sense that lots of copycat spin-off stuff would pop up if this was real world. You'd have corporations trying to take advantage of it and make money. God knows if they'll go down that route, but they absolutely could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, there's some shenanigans going on with Sharon Carter, and obviously Madam Hydra shows up in the post-credit scenes of this, which I thought was a very touching. Before we went into the Madam Hydra thing, I thought that was a very touching moment. Florence Pugh comes upon the grave of Natasha. It's in Ohio, where she does the whistle thing.
As soon as it started, I was expecting someone to show up. Part of me almost thought that it was going to be ScarJo herself, and she was going to whistle back, but that didn't happen. And I'm glad it didn't happen, because that character should stay dead. This universe should have stakes.
Yeah, it pans down and it shows the coffin, and then just for a split second before the credits roll, some soil rises up from the coffin.
Except for the fact there's no coffin, because she's on the floor of some alien planet somewhere.
Yeah, but, yes, that's true. In a different timeline, no less. Yeah. That opening scene that shows Florence Pugh's character, who I believe was called Elena. I think that's the name of the character, Elena or Selena. Yelena, there you go. So Yelena and Natasha as kids, but I didn't know that was good. I didn't call that was going to be Natasha. I thought they were showing us Florence Pugh's character and Taskmaster. That's who I thought I was looking at until they said, what's her name? Oh, it's Natasha.
Whatever's that character's got going on with Valentina, who knows whether that will be the villain of Hawkeye or it'll be a film that's yet to be announced. It could go absolutely either way with that character. She could be in it for 10 more films. She could die in the next thing she's in.
Yep, she could.
It could go either way.
I don't think it will. I think this is going to be Black Widow going forward. She'll be in some Avengers lineup somewhere.
But whatever's going on with them, and US Agent as well, Taskmaster's on that team, I'm going to say, because they took her with them. Taskmaster's hanging about with the Black Widows.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's what the sequel will be called. Black Widows and
Black Widows. Yeah.
Initially it'll be called Black Widows 2 in Asia, but then they'll realise that that's sexist and call it Black Widows and Taskmaster.
You are 100% on the money, man.
Two reference for anyone.
I thought that some of the stuff on Taskmaster was quite on brand. Where you see her do the Black Panther claws, and there's a Winter Soldier moment, isn't there, with the knife, and the fact that she's been you were introduced to her. She's watching the airport battle footage, so she's picking up all the different traits.
And everything, mate.
Yep. She's got.
They definitely got Taskmaster's abilities,
mannerisms down, spot on
to a T, nailed it.
And the look as well, the costume, especially with the hood up. I was like, fucking bang on.
Absolutely great, but I am insulted that the directors and the people behind this film thought that anyone would go into believing that was a male.
Yeah,
it's very obviously a female, especially for the MCU, where all of the males are just super fucking jacked and as wide as a bus. Sorry, no. That is not big enough to be.
He hasn't been down the gym.
definitely a female.
Look at his arms. He is so puny. No, I don't know whether it's super obvious unless because we already do all the casting and stuff, is it super obvious to us because we do shit like this and we dissect everything in the run-up to films like this? I'll check in with Kira afterwards. I'll see whether it caught her off guard, like just for like a general audience.
I mean, since first trailer, I've thought that Taskmaster was female. I had the wrong female. I thought it was the mom. You know, and I still was sure that it was the mom of the group. I can't, if you can remember the character's name, just
Melina.
Yeah. So I thought it was still Melina until Melina. We knew she was on the ground, and Taskmaster came down in a helicopter. They were at the pig farm. That was the moment. Stop believing it.
I love the little pigs. I know that's really lame, but the little legs when they were. I was like that one scene where like because they can genetically control the pigs, can't they, and stop them from breathing. And that one scene where they demonstrate that with one of the pig. I was like, don't you dare let that fucking pig die, man. Okay, so I'm a big fan of that pig.
I'm going to ask you this, and I'm hoping that your memory is better than mine. We've seen this red ship before, right? This was in Captain America. Not Captain America. This was in Civil War, right? This was the red shit at the start with Crossbones. Please tell me I'm wrong, but at the start of Civil War, when the explosion happens, they're trying to get the bio thing off Crossbones, and it's a little fucking red vial. I really think it is, and I think that is this.
I'd have to rewatch it. Like, I think. Yeah, you might very well be right. This film dropped.
Well, whatever that is, whatever they're after from Crossbones, is never referenced again.
But didn't they say it was like a biological weapon that would have taken out the whole marketplace?
Which
in Civil War. Oh.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna rewatch that and I'll compare. It takes a lot of cues from Civil War. This film does, especially with the big on-screen place names.
Same logos and everything. Yeah. Same font. Sorry, I did think that.
And that gets
Civil War vibes.
That gets a payoff when it's like Red Room.
Yeah. I did enjoy that actually.
Ray Winston as a character actor, I just never got his appeal. Like he's shown up in a couple of things that I've seen. That was the really generic bad guy doing a terrible Russian accent because he's like a Cockney guy and like that.
I'm sorry, that character fell completely flat for this thing that's been, referenced since Avengers. The conversation with Loki that she has. It kind of fell flat, and I almost think that this whole film was made around that because it was said in Avengers.
Yeah, do you know what? Good movie. 5 years too late. I'm coming back to that again.
Right.
Yeah,
and to be honest, it's one of those films, and this is rare for an MCU film. I guess it's not so rare for a standalone MCU film. I don't really have much to say about it. It's completely serviceable.
I thought that when it finished.
Talk about the most. There's more to discuss with the most recent episode of Loki than there is with this, and it's not even close.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it finished, the first thought that I had. No, I think it was part way through the film where I was thinking about this podcast and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be fucking difficult to talk about, man, because it just kind of happens. It's just. Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel like I left the film knowing much more about Black Widow than I did before I went in. Which is a shame because when people were saying they wanted a Black Widow solo film, I wanted it to be doing spy shit. Do you know what I mean? I wanted that Black Widow, and you can still have all these elements in it. Like her past comes back to haunt her, taking down the Red Room, family ties, and all that. But I wanted there to be a mission. I didn't want it to be on the run. I didn't want it to just kind of be going with the flow. I wanted a mission there. But there was one scene in particular, and I'll talk about this, and then we can give final thoughts or whatever, that I thought was really on brand for Widow, and that's sort of that scene where she can't hit Dracoff and Dracoff starts giving her a bit of a boot, which that was quite difficult.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I thought it was quite difficult to watch at the start, like when he's like proper pounding on her, and it's I didn't like that.
Knowing that they wouldn't, that there was a reason for it. That I knew that my mate Kev wouldn't let the characterization of you know, the Avenger Black Widow be beaten
Yeah.
up by some fat Russian. You know,
A fat British guy pretended to be Russian.
yeah, and when she slams her head on the desk,
Yeah.
because he's too much of a pussy to
to actually break her nose. I love the thank you for your cooperation line, and I was like, that's so on brand because
that is so on brand. That is so Avengers talking to Loki while he's in the boot.
Not even that, but like the opening scene of Avengers when she's in the chair and they think they've got her on the back foot, and when Coulson calls her, it's like, no, I'm in an interrogation. This idiot's giving me everything. So it's just it's so on brand for her. It's like
it is. I've got a question for you.
That was a great character moment. Like as a single scene, that's like a better scene than the rest of the movie for me. It was great, and Scarlett Johansson's great in this. It's
definitely.
Scarlett Johansson for me, just as an actor, just like her resting face always looks like she's about to burst into tears, and I think that's it's a good thing. She's just got an intensity about her, is what I mean by that. But go on, you said you had a question for me.
Yeah, is this a better Black Widow film than Captain America 2?
No.
Now, is it not a better film? Is it a better Black Widow film?
Yeah, I know. No, it's not.
I think so.
No,
I think it is, but it's
you had Black Widow doing.
Than it should be.
You had Black Widow doing spy shit in Winter Soldier. That's what I want. That's what. Do you know what I mean?
In
bit of espionage.
You had Black Widow. You know, you didn't even know if she was on the side of Captain America or what. And obviously, she was, because we've seen the end of the fucking film and the films. But that's what the characterization of Black Widow should probably be. In this, we pretty much knew whose side everyone was on. The only person
we know where it's going.
To me was Milena, the mum.
And they do the double. They do the double shufty on us there, don't they? Like pulling the rug with the fucking face mask thing that makes a return from Winter Soldier.
No, well,
which I thought was cool.
We had that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well.
We did, but I just wasn't expecting it to show up here. It's technology I always forget exists.
It would have surprised me. I'm glad they do that, because some of the earlier Marvel films, they introduced technology that got completely swept under the rug in subsequent films, like Captain America's magnetic shield. Don't know if he just turned around and decided, I don't like this shit.
That's one throwaway scene in Age of Ultron. Is it just
yeah, and there's a lot of stuff, I think, especially in Age of Ultron, that's completely throwaway for the whole MCU. But I'm glad that wasn't. I really like when they take these things that have been at the back of our minds for 10 years, 5 years, you know, whatever, and bring them back. I wish I hadn't seen it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it would have really excited me to see it here, except for the fact that it really excited me to see it in that as well.
I'd completely forgot.
It's a completely dumb fucking piece of technology that doesn't make any sense.
I think that Falcon Winter Soldier is completely forgettable as a show. To be honest with you, so I'd forgot that it was there until you literally just said it. Then
disagree. I like that show.
It's the worst one. The three of them that are out so far.
No. Sorry, WandaVision is the worst one.
Oh yeah, we're salty about WandaVision. I don't know.
Because I'm salty. It was because it was build up, nothing.
Build up. Let's get two people that are the same power set chucking lasers at each other.
Build up. Ralph Boner. That's
Final thoughts. Black Widow.
Go and see it. It's completely serviceable. I give it 8 out of 10.
Fair enough. Great film.
Actually, no, 7.5.
This is my final thoughts on it, just to close out the review. Great film. 5 years too late.
I'm glad you mentioned that, actually.
I just thought I'd slip it in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Nothing else we want to say before we move on? I don't think there is.
No, there is one thing.
Go on.
Aazitgewin, mate!
Aazitgewin, Jord.
Woo!
Aazitgewin, what's going on? Tell us about all the shit that you've done. Aazitgewin, our kid.
I thought we were in for more film talk then, mate.
I got you, didn't I? I also got
you swindled me.
On your face. Let me just move that.
Yeah, get that logo off my face.
Oh, there we go.
How's it going, Jord? Yeah, all right, Sam. Yeah.
What
you've been up to, mate?
I am. Yeah. What have I been up to? Okay. So last Thursday, I did something that I haven't done in a long time. Since I was a teenager, living at my mum's house and ignoring my girlfriend. I raided in World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, you big nerd.
I haven't had that much fun on a game in fucking years. If you've never done it, it probably seems like fun. 10 people together, you jump on a Discord, you chat shit, you get shouted at a little bit if you stand in the fire,
Yeah.
And you kill some fucking bosses and get some loot, man. You get them fucking perps, right? I had a really good time. Obviously, I'm talking about Burning Crusade Classic.
Yeah, right.
Retail's
Oh yeah, obviously, I knew that. I knew that.
Retail's out the fucking window at the moment because it's Blizzard are killing their own game by firing all of their staff and making working conditions shit.
What the fuck is going on?
Too much money. Shit, mate. Fortunately, this is a game they made 15 years ago. When they were such a dog shit company. I'm not sure if Activision owned them at that point, but still, probably did by then. And it's a great game. It holds up. If you like MMO RPGs, fucking, you're probably already playing it. To be honest,
I was going to say, if you,
Final Fantasy 14.
If you like MMO RPGs, this is your game, man. Is League of Legends still a thing, dude?
Yeah. League of Legends is huge, mate.
It's
not only
that
that.
League of Legends.
So one of the main devs, one of the big people at Blizzard back in the day, Ghostcrawler, Greg Street is they all had WoW names. His name was Ghostcrawler. He actually left Blizzard a long time ago to go work for Riot, and I believe that he's heading up a League of Legends, or at least a Riot Studios MMO.
Ooh. It's never good when big companies like this.
As fuck.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
You combine in the toxicity of WoW with the toxicity of League of Legends, you are going to have the most toxic game.
Oh no, it sounds awful. But from a business standpoint, though, you're like Activision and Blizzard really need to start retaining some talent because they've let a lot of people go that have then gone on to. I know that Activision employees banded together to work on Respawn Studios that ended up making I nearly said Attack on Titan that made Titanfall, and it's very similar to how Activision got started. Like as a company, they were
it's not just that. There are so many studios offshooting old Blizzard employees now. I think there's literally like 3 or 4, and not just that. You've also got some people, one of the old head honchos at Blizzard, he's gone off and made a tabletop games company for the same sort of genre, but tabletop shit. And one of these studios has had recently mega investment from China, which I don't approve of, but still, I think that's all.
Whoa, we'll get redacted. We'll get redacted. China's great. We love China.
No, fuck China. There's Frost Giant Studios too. What's Frost Giant Studios? I don't recognise that name.
But no, yes, it's just CEOs of the gaming world, of the world in general. Actually, just fucking treat your staff like human beings, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't make their working conditions like actual hell.
Oh shit! And sorry, Frost Giant Games is Mike Morhaime. Is that the one that did get the investment to make the next big, RTS StarCraft sort of game?
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, it's what the one that's had a huge investment from China. That's to make the next big RTS, which there hasn't been one in a while. StarCraft is still huge in certain parts of the world, which is mind blowing because that is such an old game that Blizzard don't give a fuck about anymore. But especially, I think it's like a Southeast Asia sort of place in the world where it's still huge, which is why it's had huge investment from China for them to make the next big one. Cool. It looks like everyone who used to work at Blizzard is doing pretty well for themselves, and everyone who still works at Blizzard is not doing.
There's nothing like jacking in a job that fucking ruins your mental health and going to work for the competition. I can tell you that for free. Like there's no feeling like it in the world. I've had a tinker with a few games this week, mate. I've had a little bit of a tinker with your boy Mario. I've been running around. I've been
waiting a week for this, mate.
Yeah, I've been getting them.
I'm
getting them moons. It's so fun. It is, isn't it? It's fun as fuck. It's great to control. It might be the cutest game I've ever played. Obviously, I know all the iconography of the Mushroom Kingdom and shit like that. I know all the Mario sound effects or whatever, and now actually hearing them in context is a bit like, oh, okay. So, like, I'm finally on that train. So
I'm really happy, as you regular listeners might know, Super Mario Odyssey is it recently overtook. I say recently, about a year ago, it overtook BioShock Infinite as my favourite game of all time. I think it's the best game ever made. I think it is. You know, you can't get much better than a game where, on the base of it, if you were just on a flat plane of ground with maybe a few blocks, just moving is fun.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Mario Odyssey smashes.
I like to do the super long jump and then roll into a ball and roll around for as long as I can until it kicks me out of it. No, I play with I don't play handheld. I play with the controller mode and docked.
Play with Joy-Cons; it'll unlock a lot more for you.
I can still shake my controller around and stuff to like climb higher and shit, or like
So when you play with Joy-Cons, it's a bit more difficult playing with the controller. But when you play with Joy-Cons, you can basically use one of the Joy-Con. I'm right-handed, so it's the right one for me.
Mm-hmm.
You can basically flick the Joy-Con in any direction, and instead of Cappy just going straight, he'll go in the direction that you're flipping.
Okay, I might give that a shot then.
It changes everything because you can flip him around a corner that you can't get to.
You can give him a little curveball.
Yeah, it unlocks a lot more. Have you learned the move which is the most fun part of the game in my opinion, where you jump, throw your hat, dive onto your hat, jump off your hat again, and then dive again?
No, you see, I'm finding it quite hard to be that precise with it because I've got massive hands and the Switch is not a massive controller, so I don't think I'm quite dexterous enough to do that. I get all the individual moves, I just can't chain them together. But no, I've been a tank. I've been a fucking.
Try and work on that because it's.
You can do skips and stuff with that, can't you?
You can. Being able to do that, you can look at so this part I go in that pipe and I'm 2D Mario and I'll go through and then there's an entrance at the top. Learning how to do that, you can be like, fuck that, I'm just gonna jump up there.
Yeah,
you know, and then you can even do stuff like chain it onto a wall jump, and the possibilities really are pretty endless when it comes to movement in that game.
There's no wrong way to play this game. You can approach it however you want to do it.
And
do you
that's
know
what
what
I
mean?
think is tips it over the edge of being my favourite game of all time, is because you play the game how you want to play it, and you don't see that very often. A lot of games, even the ones that give you the illusion of being like that, are very linear in practicality. This really isn't.
It reminds me.
You get the moons that you want to get. You get the moons that you want to get. You fuck off to the next level if you want. You can come back, get some more moons later, whatever. Yeah.
You buy them, just sit there and buy them if you got the coin.
Exactly,
just, as many moons as you need, mate. It reminds me
Mario has moons if you've got coin, like.
Yes, my friend. No, it reminds me a little bit of do you remember the 3D Sonic Adventure games where it was like cartoony characters against a photorealistic background, or a realistic environment? It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And if you'd have told me that you could play as a T-Rex in level 2, I would have fast-tracked this game a long time ago. Do you know what I mean?
I should have.
I am the fucking dinosaur. But explain to me, if that T-Rex is like a Jurassic Park T-Rex, essentially, and it looks like that, what the fuck is Yoshi then? Like, what do dinosaurs look like in this universe?
Right. You are at the tip of the iceberg. If you got to Metro Kingdom yet?
I'm there now. There's
New York.
There's a centipede on the
realistic. So you haven't unlocked Day Metro yet? You're still in Night Metro?
I'm still in Night Metro. It's pissing it down. But I've noticed that the inhabitants are just guys. they're just dudes.
So what the fuck is Mario? If in this world anatomically correct humans exist, what the fuck is Mario?
I bet that looks terrifying. I bet there is a photorealistic version. Somebody's made that Nightmare Fuel. It exists.
They've made it of Sonic. They've made it of Crash. They've done it.
Yeah, great game. I'm definitely going to carry on playing it. But the other thing I've had a tinker with is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Okay, which one's pulling you more?
Ratchet and Clank is so fun, and Mario Odyssey is so fun. I've played more Mario Odyssey than I have Ratchet and Clank. I don't know whether that's a time thing though. And Ratchet and Clank looks fucking beautiful, and I can't get over the fucking load times on this thing, man. It's like load the game. Oh, it's loaded. Here's the main menu. Click resume. There it is. It's fucking instantaneous, man. It's insane. I've found it pre-owned for the price of a regular PS4 game because I've said it before on this pod. No, I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. I don't mind paying 40-50 quid for a game. I'm not fucking paying 70. It's not going to happen. So Sony didn't see a penny of this. It's a great game, and I think more people should be playing it, but don't buy it brand new. Like, whatever you fucking do, I don't want this to be like the normal price of games. More people need to do what I've done and get it pre-owned. So
Mate,
that's actually
Sony haven't got any of your PS5 money so far, have they?
No, not yet. No, not yet. No.
Oh,
no, they haven't.
Have
I pay for PS Plus though.
Okay, fair enough.
And they give me a free game every now and then, and let me see my son. Like, you're gonna pay $6.99, and you're never gonna see your son.
Right. What else have I done? I've definitely done some more stuff, but I can't. The problem with this is I haven't edited last week's pod yet, so I can't remember what I said last week, and I have a really bad time concept.
You were talking about So What, I'm a Spider last week, or I'm a Spider, So What?
So I'm a Spider, So What?
Yeah, that finished, and you spoke. That was last week, yeah.
Have I fucking done anything this week? I've hated my life, my job. I mean, I like my life. The rest of it, anyway.
I was gonna say I love
Family
your life.
Sound. My friend is sound, singular.
You talking about me, right?
Yeah.
I'm sound. I started my annual rewatch of Breaking Bad this week as well, but I know that like there's probably not much to say since you're not a huge fan of that.
I'm a huge Bryan Cranston fan.
He's fucking so good in that.
I'll rewatch Malcolm in the Middle all fucking day.
I wish there was something I could do for Breaking Bad, but it's just not happening with you, is it? Like no. and that's the end of that. But fantastic fucking show. I'm sort of midway through season 2. I'm really enjoying it. So,
good.
And that's
good. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And that is my impression of that. Is that a podcast, Jord?
That looks a lot like a podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a VOD somewhere. When it's wrapped up, I'm gonna check to see if the previous, because for some fucking reason during our break, OBS decided that they wanted to self-implode, and the stream ended. So I don't know if there's. I don't know what's going on.
It saves automatically on OBS, doesn't it? Like, I'm pretty sure it does in the event of something like that.
3 minutes of it, but surely we were recording for longer than that before it cacked out.
No, I think that sounds about right to me.
You sure? We did the whole pre-show and... Anyway, we can talk about this in a minute.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, guys. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you for being so responsive to our new format. That is fucking great. Do all the things. You know what the things are. You don't need me to talk you through the things. You know that thing that YouTubers say of all the things that you should do. Do them. If you've made it this far, thank you so fucking much. Jord, where can people find you online if they feel so inclined?
At _Sidonian on Twitter.
On Twitter, you can find me at KaijuGroupie91 on Twitter, at Ataka Official on Instagram,
and Sidonian on YouTube.
Mm-hmm, yep, get fucking Jord Sidonian on YouTube. Funny fucking edits, they're amazing.
Funny fucking edits at least once a year.
Yeah, so, we got 2 out this year. I'm fucking chuffed with that.
Yeah, no, 3.
I can't direct people to that first episode that we did, but there's a banger from Jord talking about Keanu Reeves in that first episode. But don't watch that first episode. Watch it on Sidonian on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Oh, if you see me in real life, please leave me alone, and we shall see you next week. Same fat chart, same fat time, same fat channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice one.
Oh fuck this. For the people on YouTube, check us out on Twitch, man. The pinned comments and everything will link to the Twitch channel. We go live at, I think we're setting the time at 6:30 on a Monday, British time. But I'll also, in the link comments, I'll stick some American times in there. Just, some global times so you can see what your local time zone is and when we're going to be going live. And we're live for about 3-4 hours.
Absolutely, we are. Well, thank you very much for your time, audience. Thank you, Jord. I will see you all next week.
Peace.
Peace. We did it. It's a podcast.
The pod is finished. The pod is gone. Why don't you go and watch another one? That was Mukkapod. It was Mukkapod. Mukkapod.